You are watching KSL Sports Live.
Just a walk in the park in Stillwater. Saturday was a good day for the Utes and Cougars. Both are now top 25 teams. We'll show you where they're ranked this week.
Yeah, and Utah Hockey Club making their preseason debut in Des Moines, Iowa, while highlights against the Blues on the way.
The last time BYU and Utah were both ranked in the AP Top 25 poll was Week 6 of the 2022 season.
Yeah, not only were they reunited in the same conference this year, but now they are reunited in the AP Top 25.
And it feels so good. The Utes are now a top 10 team. They moved up 2 spots to number 10, the top-ranked Big 12 team in the top 25. Utah is 1 back of Penn State, 1 ahead of Missouri. BYU is in the top 25 for the first time in 2 years. They're ranked number 22, which happens to be 1 spot ahead of the team they just beat, the Kansas State Wildcats.
For the 11th time in BYU history, they've started the season with a perfect 4-0 record. It's the 3rd time under Kalani Sitake. But never in those previous 10 times did BYU pick up a win over a ranked opponent the way that they did on Saturday against Kansas State. BYU came in as a 7.5-point dog, and they won by 4 touchdowns. BYU's 29-point win over the 13th-ranked Wildcats is the largest margin of victory against a top 15 team in BYU football history. It also sends a message to the rest of the Big 12 in the Cougs Conference opener that you can't take BYU lightly this year.
I think we show that we can play. I mean, this is, I think the question was, what kind of team is this?
A lot of people were surprised by this. They didn't really think that we could do this. We just take it week by week, making a statement every single week.
We already know what we're capable of, and it's really just showing other people what we can do. We're such a close team, and we just know for ourselves that we can dominate the Big 12.
We just want to let people know who we are. That's what it comes down to is, hey, this is who BYU is. This is how BYU football plays. This is how we roll.
Okay, so if this is how BYU football plays and how they roll, then maybe we can have seconds. That was pretty fun to watch last night, but because it really seemed like they could do no wrong. Maybe best displayed on Parker Kingston.
Sends a low driver to Kingston. He bobbled it. Kingston recovers it inside his 10, running away from tacklers to the far side of the field. Now the 10, the 15, the 20, the 20 above the 30. Convoy down the sideline. Midfield 45-40, 35-30. Oh my goodness! He's gonna go! Touchdown! Touchdown! Parker Kingston and the Cougars. Can you believe that?
That was electric. Kind of had me on the edge of my seat. Like, whoa! And then you're finally cheering. But man, it's a lot of fun.
Covered like 150 yards. I mean, it was just absolutely insane. So, I mean, to return that for a touchdown and punt safe, I don't think you can ask for a better play.
Utah also made a statement Saturday, a statement that they are the team to beat in the Big 12. They went into Stillwater, one of the toughest places to play in the Big 12, and dominated 14th-ranked Oklahoma State. And leading the way was an improbable hero, their true freshman quarterback, Isaac Wilson, who was called on once again. We all expected to see Cam Rising take the field in Stillwater. He even went out for the coin toss, but it was Wilson instead. He wasn't perfect. He had 2 interceptions he'd love to have back, but he did a great job in a pinch for an offense that racked up 456 yards in the 100-degree heat. Wilson was 17 of 29 for 207 yards and a touchdown through the air and 41 on the ground. He becomes the first true freshman quarterback in Utah history to beat a ranked team, and he did it on the road.
I liked that he just kept hanging in there, never got down on himself, threw a couple picks, didn't flinch. You saw his ability to run. He ripped off that 40 or 50-yard run. That was huge at that point in time. Dipped his shoulder and made another tough run down in the red zone that got us the first down. He's just a competitor.
Team's trusting me, so I got to go make a play. They're giving us 0 coverage pretty much the whole game. No one was man up on me. So when I broke that pocket, I knew I was going to be there. And seeing that one guy in that first down, I got to go get it. So I went right through him.
We're a football state. We're an NBA state. Tomorrow night, we become an NHL state, too, as the Delta Center will host another NHL preseason game. But this is not the Frozen Fury, guys. This is the first ever preseason home game played by your Utah Hockey Club. The puck drops tomorrow night at 7 against the LA Kings. But the preseason actually started tonight for the hockey club, taking on the St. Louis Blues in Iowa, trailing 2-0 in the second period when the club's first ever preseason goal is scored. Michael Carcone cuts it in half with that goal. Third period, game tied at 2. Dylan Guenther giving Utah the lead with the one-timer. Remember Gunther's name. He's going to be around for a while. He'll be a star. Just over a minute to go. Tied at 3. Logan Cooley awarded a penalty, and the patient approach pays off. Cooley also going to be a star in a Utah sweater. Utah wins their preseason debut.
I've been working for the last 5-6 years to try to get to this level.
Mekhi Bernard had a career day in Stillwater. A look back on his performance. And the Utah defense continues to dominate. Stevenson Sylvester will break it down. More on Utah's big win over Oklahoma State is on the way.
I'm glad the crowd was able to help us and create some momentum for us.
It was kind of like an avalanche in Provo. BYU scoring 4 touchdowns in just over 5 minutes of their game against Kansas State. What the players said about that home crowd. And, of course, Sly will also take a chance to break down this BYU defense.
And we've already reached week 6 of the high school football season. We have the best plays of the week and a shocking upset with a dramatic finish. It's all on the way. And if you like watching high school football, we got you covered. Go check out the KSL Sports app. Dozen games or more every Friday.
All right, Oklahoma State had the Doak Walker Award winner, but it was the Utes that dominated in the run game.
Boy, did they ever. They racked up 249 yards on the ground, and it was Mekhi Bernard leading the way once again. Mekhi had 25 carries for 182 yards, both career highs, and he averaged 7.3 yards per carry. That's now 3 consecutive games with 100-plus yards rushing, and his 182 yards in a game, the most since Zach Moss against Arizona in 2019. He especially did his damage in the fourth quarter, picking up a key third down conversion in the final minutes. And he continues to establish himself as the Utes lead back.
This is the most carries I ever had. I've been working for the last 5-6 years to try to get to this level, to where coaches, trusting me and believing me to have 25 carries too. So it's been a long time coming, and I'm finally glad that I got everybody's trust in order to give me the ball, and I'm just trying to go out there and make plays.
Death, taxes, and Utah's defense. Defense traveled, and it showed up in a big way in Stillwater. Utes held the reigning Doak Walker Award winner Ollie Gordon at just 42 yards rushing, dominated the line of scrimmage, and made Alan Bowman look like a freshman, forcing him into 2 picks, just 285 yards of total offense for the Cowboys, and much of that came late in the fourth when the game was all but out of reach. The Utes are now 19th in total defense nationally.
It's all about our culture, RSMB, relentless, smart, nasty ball hawks. Scally does a great job to get us prepared and kind of have a good feeling of what they want to do and what they want to run. So I feel like it's definitely coach, just having us prepared.
RSMB on full display down in Stillwater and Sly. We heard all offseason, all these teams like, Utah thinks they can come in here and bully our conference. Well, we're 1 game in, and that's exactly what Utah's doing. And it's got to start with the defense in that game, right? I mean, they were just phenomenal.
The defense was awesome, and they said it all on college football game day. Utah's defense travels, right? And they speak the truth, and that's what this university is built on. It's built on this defense, from Coach Whittingham being a defensive coordinator, passed that down to Morgan Scally. It was just awesome. These guys were all over the place, causing turnovers. You know what was crazy? The biggest statistic that stood out to me, and I had to ask Coach Witt about it, was just like, Utah possessed the ball for 45 minutes of the 60 minutes in the game.
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. There's no way for the offense to score if they're not even having the ball. So the defense did great, forcing 3 and outs, taking no time off the clock, giving more opportunities to Isaac Wilson in this offense and Mekhi Bernard to do the things that he's doing. So this hats off to this defense. They did a terrific job yesterday.
Yeah, definitely a best friend to Isaac Wilson, as you mentioned, because he gets his 2nd career start as a true freshman, forced not only forced into that starting role because Cam's not ready yet, but on the road against a nationally ranked opponent.
Yeah, so for me, it's growth, right? Can I get better week to week, game to game? Here he's getting better play to play. He got his first interception of the game. We run this running back wheel route for every single game this year, right? And so he's missing the wide open guy. You got to understand the defense is game planning what you put on tape. So here he doesn't. He wants to go for the big play. Sees Deion Stanley, misses the open guy. But literally 2 series later, we run the exact same play to Brant Keithy, and he hits it. So they're coaching him up on the sidelines. He's understanding the growth. Here, you hit the under route. He's wide open, and it comes wide open, and you get a first down out of it. So great job by Isaac at taking the coaching and establishing it in the game. The kid's just excited, right? You talk to him, he's just excited, absolutely loves the responsibility of being the quarterback of the football team.
Look, everybody wants to see Cam back out there. It gives Utah the best chance to reach their goals this year, but now you know and you have comfort that you've got a
QB number 2.
QB number 2 that can go out there and win you big games like that. All right, you also know now you got an RB1.
Yes.
Mekhi Bernard. We talked in the offseason. We even talked 2 or 3 games, in who's going to be the lead back, who's going to be the guy. There's no debate anymore. Mekhi Bernard is putting up Zach Moss numbers right now.
Oh, yeah, easy. Well, this guy is definitely, he's number 6 in the nation right now in rushing, which is absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But what makes Mekhi Bernard different? Because you can give Mike Mitchell, Jalen Glover, all these different running backs the same running plays, it won't be the same effect. What's different about Mekhi Bernard is how he hits the hole. I absolutely love it. He has patience in the run game, and that's become from his experience, right? He understands on stretch plays, I need to take a little bit of time, wait for my blockers to set up on this specific play, and then on straight dives, he understands I got to hit it quick. A first down, or I need a first down here, 3rd and 2. So that just comes with his savviness and experience, and you see it on full display. Absolutely love his balance. He does a great job of keeping his balance and keeping those legs moving for the extra yards.
Utah clearly looks like the team to beat in the Big 12, but there's a team now down in Provo.
Let's pivot a little bit here, Sly.
Pump the brakes.
BYU's looking like a contender.
Yeah, down in Provo on the night BYU honored its 1996 Cotton Bowl winning team. The Cougars scored touchdowns in all 3 phases. That was the first time they'd done that in a game since 1996. That was more than enough to get the home crowd going. More than 64,000 in attendance, the most at a BYU game in 15 years, creating maybe the most noise ever.
It honestly was probably the loudest Lavelle's ever been. Tonight was absolutely deafening. We're trying to make checks, we're trying to make calls, and we're on the field, and you're standing this close to someone, just screaming your head off, and you can't hear a word they're saying.
Tommy Prassis picks it up in the end zone. You can't even hear. I was running down with Jack Kelly to the end zone, and we're 6 inches apart, and we can't even hear each other talk. Momentum's huge part of the game, and that rock kept the momentum in the game going.
So you look at the sorry.
Yeah, it's not just last night that BYU's defense has been so effective, leading BYU to victory in 8 quarters against Power 4 opponents this year. BYU has not allowed a single touchdown yet. It's the first time in 4 years Kansas State has been kept out of the end zone in a game, and through the first 4 games, BYU's secondary has not given up a single passing touchdown. That's something unmatched by any BYU team in the past.
I'm just proud of the defense and what they've been able to do, and the belief that they have in the system and the belief that they have in each other. And when all 11 guys are doing their job, good things happen.
3 field goals, that's electric. No touchdowns. It's awesome. That's saying something huge about our defense.
We got the guys, we got the scheme, we got the culture. We got dudes that love ball, and you can't really ask for more.
So after 1 week of Big 12 play, who are the best teams in the conference? Utah, Iowa State, I'll throw UCF in there, and then you've got to go BYU, right? I mean, they made a statement against Kansas State, and you look at that defense and that special team, Sly, and they're legit, and that's going to keep them in or win them a lot of games in conference play. And it's a defense and special teams that I know you're very familiar with. What are you seeing and recognizing there that Jay Hill has brought to BYU?
Man, I watch these plays, and all I'm doing is laughing because I know exactly what that play is called. I know exactly who's supposed to be where. It's absolutely awesome. But I love BYU. Now they're a 2nd and 3rd year in Jay Hill's defense. They're understanding the technique that we were talking about a couple years ago that they're just off and they're missing. And so here, Jack Kelly puts his head on the football, and everybody's running to the football. You get a defensive touchdown. Tyler Batty in the right position at the right time, eyes on, making opportunities. That's the biggest thing. In football games, opportunities come all the time, but are you making them? Here, they got up 31 points in a matter of what? 8 minutes.
Less than that, about 5 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah,
It's
5 minutes of
crazy.
gameplay. And that's because the opportunities were there. It presented it, and they made it. BYU was on point yesterday. And that crowd, I know how it is in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. That is a real thing. So I'm so glad that they were able to pull that off. Hopefully, you know, their ranking goes a little bit up, so when November 9th comes around, I'm going to be ready to go.
Well, you talked about opportunities. BYU's offense maybe didn't get a lot of opportunities, but they made most of the ones they were given with those short fields.
Yeah, I mean, look at it. Kansas State possessed the ball for 36, 37 minutes of the game. But the thing is, we were causing turnovers. BYU was causing turnovers, giving their offense short fields. That's what you want to do. That's complementary football. You were scoring in all three phases of the game: defense, special teams, offense, short fields, points off turnovers, capitalizing on opportunities. When you do that, an opposing team has absolutely no chance. BYU played a seemingly perfect game, and they didn't have to put monster numbers up on offense to do it.
Look at that, BYU fans.
No, I did not.
Loves your
I did not.
You heard it here first.
It's Kalani's fault. I know.
Hey, there's a lot to love about what BYU's doing right now, and you're right. This is great for the state. And we're on a collision course for a rivalry game in November that's going to have so much more meaning than we expected during the summer, and we can't wait for it. Sly, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Great stuff.
All right, one of the most memorable plays in BYU football history took place on this day 40 years ago in Honolulu, BYU visiting Hawaii. The late, great Kyle Morrell saves BYU's national championship season with an incredible play, timing the snap and sacking the quarterback on a quarterback sneak at the goal line. Always unbelievable to see it every time you do.
Well, the Utah Hockey Club won its first ever preseason game tonight on the road against the St. Louis Blues, the first ever preseason home game. That'll be tomorrow night at Delta Center against the Kings. But the work started this past week as training camp began over at the Olympic Oval. This is year 4 of a rebuild that general manager Bill Armstrong started back in Arizona. And now the optimism and belief, it's one of the highest that this team has ever been seen as they get ready to compete for a Stanley Cup playoff spot.
100%. Yeah, you know, we made some big moves. We've got tons of talent in this dressing room, and you know, why not? I mean, I don't, you know, come to camp every year ready to, you know, not win. I want to win.
Seems like the optimism is pretty high around this club for the possibilities that you guys can achieve this year.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's, you know, not getting too ahead of ourselves either. It's a long year, and you know, take it game by game, and you know, just try to do what we can control, and the rest will take care of itself.
Oh, but we are in the thick of the high school football season. Week 6 in the books. Featured a 119-point shootout between Orem and Skyview. We'll have that in the highlight reel and more NFL on the way. With 5 games left to play on the season, Real Salt Lake was able to clinch a playoff spot last night against the Portland Timbers. The game ended in a 3-3 draw thanks to Dominic Marchut and Diogo Gonçalves, their first career goals with RSL. With 51 points in the standings, RSL second place in the West. Their next match is Saturday at Austin.
Well, it's the end of an era. After 30 years, the Salt Lake Bees played their final game today at Smith's Ballpark. They'll move next season into their brand new state-of-the-art park in Daybreak. It was a great moment on Sunday between the team and its fans. A standing ovation from them, from the stands. Manager Keith Johnson acknowledging it. Keith Johnson's been there 9 of the 30 years that the Bees have played at that park. The Bees' only run of the game is here. Cole Tucker beat out an infield single with 2 outs to tie the game at 1. The Bees end up falling 3-1 to wrap up a memorable 30-year run at Smith's Ballpark.
I remember year 1 there, going to a couple games. Well, we head to the ballpark for our Any Hour Services play of the day. Dodger Stadium.
Smokes one, right center field. Ohtani is inevitable.
Shohei continues his hot hitting, hits that home run. 9th inning game tying homer. His 53rd of the season to go with 55 steals. 6 games left to play. Can he get to 60? Well, the very next batter is Mookie Betts, who ends it with a walk-off homer. Dodgers beating the Rockies 6-5. And how about this? With the loss against the Padres, the White Sox will tie the 1962 Mets for most losses in a single season in big league history. 8th inning, Fernando Tatis Jr. gets all of that. Solo homer for the 4-2 Padres lead. And in the top of the ninth, tying run at the plate for Chicago, but no. The White Sox lose their 120th game of the year, and they still have 6 games left this season.
Making history.
All right, through the first 5 weeks of the high school football season, the Orem Tigers have shown us that they plan to contend for a state title once again.
Yeah, 3 of their 5 wins this year have come against 6A opponents, but on Friday, they went down and played a team from Class 4A. Well, interesting result. Skyview was the team, Bobcats, hosting Orem. Orem gets the ball first, and the opening drive was a quick one, capped by Tayden Kaava's 38-yard pass to Kauiakana for the score. Just like that, 7-0. After holding Skyview to a punt 4 plays later, it's Faleti Iongi picking up a big gain. He's done this many times. He makes it look easy. That's an 86-yard touchdown. And Orem doing what everybody expected them to do, up 14-0. Skyview needs something to keep this from getting out of hand, and they get it. Andrew Oxborough coming through with the big interception. And the Bobcats would capitalize before the end of the quarter. Jack Clark tosses it out to Zach Sparrow. He goes in for the score and cuts the lead in half after 1 quarter.
All right, it only took 3 plays into the second quarter for Skyview to score again. Jack Clark this time is going to go to Liam Guthrie, and this ties the game up at 14. Now, right when Skyview gets back into the game, though, Orem starts to roll again. Kaava throws to an open Iongi, 36-yard touchdown. Orem would build a 31-14 lead. Less than 20 seconds to go in the half. Skyview able to cut into that lead before the break. Clark to Guthrie again, 31-21. But on the ensuing kickoff, we get a Play of the Year nominee. This is Akana on the return, and just as he's about to go down, it's hard to see, but he pitches it off to Iongi, and he is gone the rest of the way to get into the end zone. Orem goes into the half with a 38-21 lead.
We're only halfway done. Wow, this is long. For every punch the Tigers threw in this game, Skyview would eventually answer, and in the third quarter, Jack Clark again would throw a pair of touchdowns in a 4-minute stretch. The second was another to Liam Guthrie to cut the lead to 38-33. With 3 minutes left in the third, Clark throws a dime over the middle to Lincoln Ballard, and Ballard's going to pull away for an 81-yard touchdown. Skyview trailing just 45-40. There's no doubt which way the momentum has turned at this point. Jace Lillywhite picks this pass off and takes it back for the go-ahead touchdown. Skyview had a 48-45 lead after 3 quarters. Upset alert.
Well, we start the fourth quarter with Iongi's 5th touchdown of the game to give the lead back to Orem. It's 52-48, but it seemed like Jack Clark was just heating up. It's going to go 30 yards to the end zone. Look who's at the other end of this one. Guthrie again. Skyview's back up 54-52. This is like a heavyweight bout going all 15 rounds. Orem throws the next uppercut here. Kaava to Akana. Tigers touchdown makes it 59-54. Skyview's against the ropes. It's Clark making history. This is his 8th touchdown pass of the game, which is tied for 3rd most in state history. Guthrie pulling it in, his 5th of the game, tied for 2nd most in state history. And Skyview is up 1. Orem has one last chance for the knockout punch with the field goal. But this attempt is off the mark. Skyview prevails. Look at that final score, 60-59.
What an epic battle. Wow.
Yeah, and what a weekend we had, really, for high school football here in the state.
Yeah, and we can't think of a better way to sum it all up than with the Game Night Live highlight reel.
Guthrie, and he's got a touchdown!
Can't wait to see what happens in Week 7. Let's get it going. This week we visit Region 5 for our Game Night Live Game of the Week. The undefeated Roy Royals host the Woods Cross Wildcats. You can watch it on the KSL Plus app, KSL Sports app, or KSLSports.com. I'll be on the call with Stevenson Sylvester. Join us at 7 p.m. on Friday. We'll be right back.
How about this? For the first time in 60 years, the PGA Tour is returning to Utah. We've been talking about this for a while now. That will happen on October 9th through the 13th at Black Desert Resort down in Ivins, which is near St. George. When the course was complete and the PGA saw what Utah had to offer, it was a no-brainer to come here to Utah.
You know that the beauty down there, the scenery, the landscape is amazing. Nowhere else in the world is like it. And Steve Winslow from the PGA Tour, he said, after we walked it for 7 hours, he said, Patrick, there are spectacular golf courses on the PGA Tour and there's epic holes, but nothing is going to pop on international television like Black Desert in southern Utah.
And the way it looks on TV,
oh boy, he's got that right.
That's a difference maker, man.
Cannot wait for that. Awesome to have the PGA Tour here. By the way, you can hear the Utah Hockey Club, the preseason game. You can hear that. We are now the 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone is the home of UHC hockey. You can hear it on the KSL Sports app and listen to the game. Good night, everybody.